Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's Zane JJ. Today we're coming back a video basically talking about something very speculative and of course very interesting to know of. Basically, is the price of Bitcoin. And of course, with this itself, I'm gonna basically tell you what is the price of Bitcoin on which exact date. Not really exact date, but of course exact period during the time itself. There's an event gonna happen with Bitcoin, and of course this pricing itself might be achievable. And of course, I would say I strongly believe it is achievable. So do not take this video as financial advice and dump your life savings into this cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. And of course, I would say this is just an educational video. And of course, when I say this, and of course during this period itself, this period and this pricing itself, there's some sort of political issue behind it. Basically, it is basically the regulation talking about cryptocurrency, and after that, from there, there is some of my speculative slash a conclusion that the price might be this level or even higher because there is lots of things happening around the world, and I'm gonna give you some of my knowledge slash experience in the market. So if let's say you are interested in the video itself, feel free to do something for me that is totally free. Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, which is also free, and of course you're feeling more generous, feel free to visit my Patreon and of course support me through Patreon itself or use my referral link down below on the channel itself. Is to basically help the channel, and of course I'm making free contents, therefore I would say the smashing the like button itself will help me out a lot. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into the topic itself, talking about my personal experience in the cryptocurrency market before we go ahead and after that talk about a price and everything, because you need to know like what is my background. If let's say you are just watching this video, came across this video from your feed or whatsoever, feel free to basically know my background. I'm gonna explain it to you. So my background itself, I'm not like a MIT student or economist or whatsoever. I'm just a 25 years old kid, basically doing cryptocurrency content. And of course, I have joined the crypto space since 2017. Some of you guys might say, oh, he might be an OG, made fuck tons of money, become a millionaire. But to be honest, I'm not the millionaire status yet. But of course, I'm trying to go there by doing it safely. And of course, you might hear about like those Dogecoin millionaire, Shiba Inu millionaire getting rich by hitting the jackpot by buying some of this what do they call it, meme coin or shit coin basically over there. So for my case itself, I'm trying to build wealth passively and of course doing it safely through my YouTube channel itself. Started on 2017 19th of October, and after that from there, I'm from Singapore if you guys have been following me. And of course, how did I came about Bitcoin itself is basically searching online, like how do I make money online and stuff like this. So I came across Bitcoin, and of course, to educate myself even more, I dig even deeper. And of course, as of today, I've already been in the space for almost how many years? 5 years or so. Yep, around going to be 5 years this year itself. And after that, from there, I would say during my entry of the market itself, 2017, I believe it was around August. 2 months of studying about Bitcoin, then a bit of finance stuff. Then I decided to make my channel. And of course, during 2017 itself, Bitcoin price was almost going high and high, but of course, when I entered the market itself, Bitcoin was at $3,000, and of course, during that time itself, it seems very expensive to buy because yeah, basically Bitcoin previously was only worth less than $100, less than $1,000, but when the day of my knowing of Bitcoin itself, it was around $3,600, and after that, eventually it just boomed up to like 60,000. Then after that, went back down to like yeah, people might call it the financial crisis. Bitcoin whatsoever went back to 3,000. And after that, where we started at 2017, 2018 itself, we see a crash all the way down. And after people say, oh, the bubble has popped and stuff like this. So in this market itself, I have experienced through the market itself, thick and thin. And after that, I would say there's lots of media that is covering that the bubble is popping. Is Bitcoin the next .com bubble? Is Bitcoin the bubble has popped or whatsoever? Is Bitcoin the next goal? And after that, from there, man, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of noise in the market itself. So today itself, I'm going to give you my price prediction of Bitcoin, which is most interesting. And of course, people are more interested in this. So over here, by looking at the price of Bitcoin itself recently, I mean, the all-time high itself, it was at 64,000. And of course, you might be thinking that this is the peak that Bitcoin can ever go. Through my experience itself, during this time itself, when Bitcoin went up to almost 20,000 or 17,000 itself, I told to myself, Bitcoin is, that's it. That's the highest it can go. Because I was a newbie in the space itself, I believe you're watching, you're somehow a newbie as well, or someone experienced. So during this pop itself, people might thinking, okay, that's the end of Bitcoin, 17,000. But over here, fast forward towards like 2 years later, 3 years later, the price of Bitcoin exceeded what they call the .com bubble, or the bubble has already popped. It went up even higher, went up all the way to 60,000. Then it fell back down itself, and people might thinking, oh, this is the highest point it can go. But eventually, the market recovered itself. So to cut this straight to the point itself, the price of Bitcoin itself, I predict by 2024 itself, maybe say Q4, I mean Q1 of 2024 or Q1 or Q2 itself 2024, mark my words itself, Bitcoin will be reaching again, breaking this all-time high of 64,000. And after that, I would say it will definitely go towards the 80,000 zone to basically try to make another all-time high. And I would say that, to be honest, there's a lot of media coverage telling you that 2024 itself, Bitcoin is going to 100K. And of course, there's some famous influencer or someone well known in the market itself is going to tell you 500K at least. So over here, I'm just going to be someone that is more on the data. And after that, from there, I guess just going to tell you that the price of Bitcoin itself can easily hit the all-time high over here. And I'm going to mark my prediction at 80,000. And after that, I would say I was trying to do 70,000. But of course, 70,000, 6,000 towards 70,000 itself since 2021 all-time high itself, it seems very little. But of course, I would say 80,000, that's my prediction for 2024 Q2 itself. And after that, from there, I'm not going to suck my dick on social media or whatsoever if let's say it doesn't hit. But over here, I'm going to give you my explanation on how is it even possible. So we are talking about possibility of it breaking and after that reaching the 80,000 zone that I have claimed. So I would say, yeah, I mean, I'm just someone that is a Ponzi scheme or whatsoever. Nah, just kidding. Basically, I'm just going to explain to you why I think so, and after that, using the past data analysis itself. So over here, we can see the first halving of Bitcoin itself. During the time itself, there was not much movements. So over here, Bitcoin has been trading around $1 all the way towards like $11. So it's a 10x since the start till the first halving itself. So around that 10x. And after that, over here, fast forward towards the second halving itself, the first halving itself, it was around $11, and at the second halving itself, we can see that Bitcoin itself went up to $500. So it's around a 50x. Yep, so 1x to a 50x. So over here, 50x is very scary, and after that, from there, lots of people make lots of money during that time. Those who will believe in the early days. So over here, from the second halving itself, it was around $500 or so. Till the third halving itself, it went up back to like 7,000. If you want to talk about the lows itself, maybe 6,000. So from $500 towards what is this? $6,000, I would say the X is the percentage that you are making is crazy. So we hear $6,000 divided by $500 itself is around 12x. So during every halving itself, we can see there's a 10x over here, and over here during the mainstream period itself, first halving towards the second halving, when Bitcoin was somehow more popularized, it went up like 50x. Yeah, 50x, I believe. 5x, yeah, 50x. And after that, over here, during the second halving to the third halving itself, it was somehow more mainstream. And after that, people are getting attention of Bitcoin and everything. So money has poured into, and after the speculation has been eyeing on Bitcoin, and it went after the halving itself, it did a 12x during the time frame itself. If you bought at the second halving and ended at the third halving itself, and you sold at the third halving, you are basically making a 12x of your money through 4 years in the space itself. So S&P 500 itself, during 4 years itself, you can't make 12x on your money. So that's the fact. And after that, over here, we can see that we are currently at the third halving. And of course, we can see that the pattern itself, during the halving itself, it went down. And after that, eventually it went up again. Then after that, from there, as of today, we are looking at almost the same pattern at the second and the third halving itself. After the second halving itself, Bitcoin was already down. But of course, eventually have momentum to pick it up. But it took some time. And over here, because during that period itself, it went up to like high, and after that it crashes. During the time itself, it was the craze of like GPU mining, and after that, from there, people are talking about ICO. And of course, during ICO period itself, there's tons of scam. I would say tons of scam. I mean, like if I was the one scamming, I would be basically a billionaire or something like that. But over here, I would say millions of dollars has been lost during 2017. But of course, I feel you guys, and of course, I have been scammed as well during the period. And over here, we can see that this period itself was very sketchy period, I would say, for the Bitcoin space. So over here, it went up, and after that, from there, oh, snap. So I'm gonna go back to the page itself. I mean, like too much talking, and after that, from there, my computer can't handle this type of knowledge. I mean, this type of information. So over here, we can see the second halving to the third halving itself, it went up, and after that, eventually we are doing almost the same pattern. But of course, during this period itself, we've seen like the Tesla coming into Bitcoin, and after that, selling Bitcoin, and after that, basically manipulating the market in whole. So over here, we can see that there was two like mountains over here. You want to call it the M or whatsoever. So over here, instead of the second halving itself, we only have a straight up peak, and after that, it just went down all the way. And after people say it's crashing, but eventually we recovered back after almost 2 or 3 years down the road before the next halving. So over here, we can see that we are almost at this phase itself towards the fourth halving. So over here we can see the fourth halving itself. This is what happened. And of course, over here, every halving that's happened, we can just look at the spend. The first halving itself, Bitcoin was only at $12. Second halving itself, Bitcoin is only at $700 to $500. And after that, the third halving itself, we can see the all-time high of Bitcoin is around 8,000. And of course, at the third halving itself, we might see Bitcoin heading up towards $100,000 that people are claiming. So here on the website itself, is basically telling you guys that accumulative between 50,000. And of course, still cheap. Basically, people are calling it cheap at 50 over 1,000. And of course, the maximum that the bubble will head towards is 100 and basically 260,000. So if let's say it is true itself, $260,000 per Bitcoin on the fourth halving itself, you guys are gonna be like very rich. So the next topic itself, this is only the chart analysis telling you that why I predicted that it's gonna go for $80,000, because during the first second halving it was doing like 50x, then after that 12x, and over here from 500 towards this over here is doing a 12x. And after that, believe me, if let's say we are accurate enough, let's say this first time itself is doing 10x, then 50x suddenly, and after that 12x. And of course, I would say the third time itself, I believe at least it will do maybe a 8x, an 8x or maybe a 10x during the market itself, during the peak of over here, the halving. So we here 90,000. If let's say we do a 8x or something like that, we are at the range of around 70 to 80,000 if my math didn't fail me. But over here, I would say if I did a 10x itself, we are looking at $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. But I'm not going to do my prediction that high to basically FOMO you guys in. So first of all, why is this even possible itself? Number one, the country of African Republic itself, we know that Africa itself has issue with their monetary system. Basically hyperinflation, and after that everything is worthless. After day by day, the inflation rate of daily inflation rate itself is going at 10%, 5%, and after that some worst case itself, they are basically inflating the money too much, and after that from there the citizen itself do not trust their currency. Therefore they have to head over to another alternative, which is Bitcoin, not controlled by any single government slash entity itself. Therefore, I say it's decentralized. It's the money for peer-to-peer like you and me. And after from there, you might be thinking, for those who are staying in the first world country itself, it's not gonna happen in my country and stuff like this. But over here, we can see that inflation itself is always eating our life savings up. If let's say you're a saver, you're saving your money in the bank itself, and after that, from there, you look at today. Oh, today chicken rice is $2. 4 years down the road, chicken rice is $2.50. Then after that, eventually you went up to $5 per plate of chicken rice. And after from there, we're thinking, hey, I'm saving and I'm working. I'm looking to basically retire in a bungalow or island itself. Some of you guys might be having the, I don't know, during the industrialized phase. Dream itself, get a good degree, and after that go out to work, and of course from there you will lead a good life. But eventually it doesn't work today in this time of age. If you're gonna work and work and work, you're not gonna be rich itself. And after that, I would say having 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree itself is not gonna make you rich in this time of age, because there's too many degrees out there. So you have to know that this is inflation. And after that, over here for legal tender itself, being a legal tender of Bitcoin itself, that means more citizens are gonna buy Bitcoin, and after that hold Bitcoin itself. Therefore, the price is gonna get pumped higher and higher for Bitcoin itself. So how does Bitcoin work itself? Some of you guys might say it's out of thin air. There is nothing backing up this digital currency itself. It is printed of the thin air itself. Yes, it is a code. It's printed of thin air, but of course we have the infrastructure behind it, like the Bitcoin miners. There's equipment being built on this, and after that, there's job being provided for the Bitcoin farm, mining farms, and everything. So this is the infrastructure that we have. And of course, you think about the bank itself. The bank is also something like printing money out of the thin air. So yeah, I mean vice versa. So over here we can look at the price of halving itself has really done. And of course, the third argument itself is basically more ETF is trying to in the US itself, there's a lot of people trying, a lot of hedge fund trying for the ETF for Bitcoin itself. Why is that so? Because ETF itself, we know that it's a futures trading, and after that from there you can see that we have gold ETF. Why do we even have gold ETF? Like, I mean, people want to have a piece of this investment instrument itself, this commodity, and after that from there people are thinking that, okay, we have lots of goals, and after that go in the planet itself. So how do we like monetize it? How do we have provide this piece of investment towards everybody itself in the safest way itself? So ETF itself is one of the safest way, because it's gone through the US regulation, and after over here the regulation itself shows that Hong Kong itself is trying to show I mean, like, there's always news talking about some country trying to get regulating Bitcoin and stuff like this. So I believe during the next halving itself, or maybe let's say 5 or 10 years down the road itself, I believe Bitcoin will get regulated. And after that, once it get regulated itself, ETF is going to happen. And one ETF happen itself, on the futures market itself, we can see that Bitcoin is going to worth a lot of money, because this type of ETF itself is completely scam. So why do I say it's a complete scam itself? Number one, if the ETF is being launched itself, they technically do not need to tell you that they own this exact one-to-one Bitcoin, because they're just buying a contract, and after that from there you're just borrowing money, and this is basically paper money, magic money being traded all around the world, from people who has money to borrow, and after that people who are willing to take the risk and of course get liquidated and stuff like this. So this over here is gonna basically pump in a lot of magic money into the financial market as a whole, into the Bitcoin market as well. And after that from there, all of these ETF itself, they can't simply just say that, oh, you just buy my ETF, and after that from there I do not own any Bitcoin. But at least they will buy some Bitcoin to show you that we own some Bitcoin, and after that from there, this is somehow backed by this currency that we are playing into, we are buying into, like the gold ETF itself. I mean, if you look at the gold ETF itself, if let's say everybody wishes to use their contract of gold ETF itself, their digital contract, to basically claim their gold, I mean, the company behind this can't pay everybody out their gold itself, because this is overly leveraged. And after that from there, our economy itself is run fueled by debt, and of course leverage itself, it makes the world spin. And over here, the risk warning. So we, after knowing all of this information itself, I mean, like, it's too much information. I believe I'm trying to compare it into like a 16-minute or even 18-minute video talking about this price prediction, and after that some backings out of it. But over here, at the end of the day itself, you have to go and understand how does the market work. Not the market, how does the money work, monetary system. You just need to know how the monetary system work throughout the history of 100 over years, and after that today itself is still running the same system. So over here, we might be thinking to ourselves, the money system has already failed us over and over again, but why are we repeating the same mistake itself? Because whoever is making the rules itself, they are basically making lots of money, living life comfortably, and after that from there, who's paying for that? Us, the taxpayer. We want to call it the citizens, to pay tax, and after that from there, build the roads and everything. But to be honest, do you think that this is even legal? I mean, it's legal some sort of way. And after that from there, I would say the risk itself, I'm not asking you to buy Bitcoin, but I'm just telling you my price prediction, and of course how far Bitcoin might go in the future, and of course how much I believe in Bitcoin itself. Is all up to, it is all due to my own due diligence, and of course experience, and of course financial studying on my own free time, if you want to call it that way itself. Not a lot of us know how the money system work. We just know that we work, we pay our rents or our bills, then we pay our tax, then we will somehow get rich in the future. So you must know how the system work before you want to be rich. Even though you are getting paid $100,000 per month job or whatsoever, if you do not know how the system works itself, at the end of the day, you will not end up rich. If your day job decided to fire you, you are gonna be left with nothing, only left with the liabilities because of your desire. And of course, I have come to the end of the video. If you feel that this video itself is very helpful and informative itself, feel free to leave a comment down below and tell me that how do you feel about this, and after that, how can I be better in my video itself. And of course, lastly, feel free to join my Discord or Telegram itself, and of course, do smash the thumbs up for the channel itself to help the channel out. Smash it, subscribe, and of course, check out my Patreon if you have the time to. And after that, I'm going to see you on the next one. Bye bye, peace.